Good morning everybody, Friday morning. So this should be our last day of harvesting spuds at this field called Black Lane. So we've got about, well, there's 7 trailer loads left, so however many acres that is, and then we're off to back to our own ground. Tractor's busy filling up with diesel. So we've had a few comments on how many acres we grow and what different things we do. So we grow about 80 acres of spuds. That gives us about 2,000 tonnes of potatoes. We also do grass for haylage for the cows. We used to grow cereals, but only about 100 acres, so it wasn't really worth us growing cereals anymore, not for a combine. Our combine was knackered. We haven't got our own storage for wheat and barley and things. So last year I decided just to put grass in after potatoes, and bit of luck really, because grass is really short this year, and we've got a bumper crop, so we're lucky. Let's get this last field finished off. I'll put the camera in some different places so you can have a look what's going on the potato harvester. Right, we'll have a look at the controls for a Grimmy harvester. So your main control box is for using most of your functions is controlled on the little box here. So your end one makes your boom go up and down, tilts on the end, and then the one on the left controls your steering. So the harvester has a steering rear axle, making it easy to turn around on the ends, and it will help hold the harvester uphill then when you're on a side bank. It also has a lane adjust ram right at the front, so you can adjust the front of the harvester left or right to make sure you're perfectly on the rows all the time. So you've got a selection of A, B or C. So A is standard, controls your steering. Then if you click onto B, that'll do your machine leveling then, so you can tilt the machine left or right so that the potatoes are always level on the harvester. So you want them all evenly spread across the whole of the web, and on the cleaning unit, if they're all over to one side it doesn't work properly. C controls the multi-step unit. I never use that one, to be fair. I do that on the main screen. So there are about 300 different settings on this thing. So you've got A screen, B screen and C screen. A screen controls your steering, your leveling, your auto height functions of how far the share digs into the ground. Obviously you want to put the share is the bit that goes under the potatoes that scoops them onto the harvester, and if that's not running deep enough, you cut your potatoes, and if it's too deep you end up going below the ground that's been destoned. So in the spring we run through with a destoner, and it puts all the stones to one side and buries them in the soil so that they don't end up going up the harvester. There's a whole plethora of different settings on each of these pages. B is your multi-step segments. So on a Grimmy machine, well, not all Grimmy machines, but this one, it's got a twin multi-step. So that means you've got 8 rollers that take the mud out and take the top out, and another 8 rollers that work clockwise or anti-clockwise to pinch the soil and pull it down through and out of the machine. That takes out all the weeds and all the rubbish as well. And page C is just lights, flashing beacons, that kind of thing, so nothing really on the sea. Cameras we looked at the other day, so we've got cameras, 4 different cameras doing different things. The main screen's set up to show me what's going on in the back of the harvester. In the summertime, if we're not pre-grading and not storing them, we have people standing on there picking off stones and bits of rubbish. The one at the bottom left corner, that shows me the camera on the end of the spout. That shows me where the potatoes are in the trailer. When the end of the elevator is in the trailer, I can't see what's going on until the spud level gets up above there. You rely on the camera to show you what's going on, and then the other 2 cameras, top and bottom, are your multi-step segments. So you can reverse one, or you can reverse both of them, to be fair, if you don't want any cleaning. So the multi-step segments have different settings. You can have them working aggressively or unaggressively. So we're only using one set aggressively at the moment and one set just transferring. When it's wet and muddy and the conditions are horrible, you need both segments on, or both sets of multi-steps working aggressively. That's the great thing about this harvester, it gives you a lot of flexibility to work in different conditions. Right, let's see if I can do this while I'm turning around to give you an idea what we have to do. So first thing we do when we turn around on the end is put the steering on. That'll make the harvester just follow around behind the tractor. You just about to see that wheel there tilted right around. we're going to line ourselves up with 2 rows. 2 rows, or 1 bed we call them. Push the auto steering button, that will make the wheels come straight, and the halves should straighten up. If it doesn't quite get lined up right, we'll have to go backwards. It's a bit hard to do it one-handed, to be honest. Alright, I don't know if the camera shows it, but we're really tilted off to one side, so that's where we need to use our levelling. If I can level the harvester now to take the slope out of the bank. Right. Get the elevator dropped into the trailer. You have to get that going before you get started, because as soon as I let the front down, the picking table will start running. If you don't have the elevator going, you'll have a potato flood. Right, so we've got 2 buttons here for into work and out of work. So we will press into work, the front will drop down, turn the PTO on, everything should start going. Right, we're off. This is where you need a good tractor driver driving alongside of you. It just stops and you starts. If they're not paying attention, they can wipe off the elevator, and that's not a good day. We've only had it happen kind of once, and we just put it against the front of the trailer and bent it back the other way, and it bent back straight, which was a bit of luck. Right, so we need a little bit of lane adjust, just because we're on a bank here, so we need to push it over. And we're running perfectly on the row now. Check our height in the trailer. So we're a little bit high. Drop it in some more. We want to be dropping the spuds about 6 inches if possible. Any more than a foot, you can start damaging them. And potatoes with a black mark on them just get fed to the cows, so that's a complete waste of time and effort. It's amazing how much mud the multi-step can take out. There's a bad patch there where we had a torrential downpour in the summer, and it washed some of the rows away. And that one is lifted up. He'll give it a little toot when he's ready for it to be lifted up a bit. Once we get off the end, we can speed up a bit. I could go a lot faster, but if I go too fast, they can't keep up the other end, and I just end up waiting for trailers the whole time. So it's a constant judgment of getting your forward speed fast enough so that the machine is kept at pretty much 80% capacity. You don't want the spuds rolling about. So on the second web, as you're going up there, which you can see the soil's been taken out of it, if they start rolling around on there, you can get a lot of damage. So the crop here is roughly, I've got it worked out at about 33 tonnes to the acre, 32 and a half. And for us, that's probably the very top end of our yield capacity, or our yield scope. Unirrigated, it's pretty good really, and quality is good as well. There's no point having loads of spuds if the quality is no good. You just end up feeding them into stock feeder for the cows, so completely pointless. And of all the crops we grow, potatoes are the most expensive to establish. So it's so important that your quality is good. Size is important. Nobody likes peeling small potatoes. So the more we can get around that baker size, the better. A few of these have got a bit too big. So this white variety nectar, if they get too big, they'll get a thing called hollow heart, and you'll have a little hollow area in the middle of the potato, and it's just where the potato's grown too fast, got too big. but until you cut it open you can't see. Right, that's the last 100 yards of this field. Back home now, so we'll get back to our own fields. We've got 2 fields at home to do of our own. Both of them are smaller than this, so there's only about 35 acres left to harvest. 2 17-acre fields. Right, let's get back to the home farm.